Awesome. Well, this is a very special edition of the Musicians Insider from Ottawa, Canada, here at the studio, the home studio of none other than Andrew LaMarche. Andrew and I played in a band called THERMOcLINE back in 2000, and that lasted for a couple years, and that was kind of my first forage into professional music with real musicians, and he was definitely experienced and taught me a lot. Now I've been in LA, I'm back in Ottawa visiting my friends, and I wanted to catch up with Mr. LaMarche and find out what's been new, and seeing this home studio, it shows me you've been up to a heck of a lot. So I guess the first question I'm going to ask you is, what band are you playing with currently, or which bands are you playing with currently, and when was your last show before the pandemic?
Oh God, yeah, like the whole pandemic thing, I keep trying to remember when the last show was. It was probably in March of 2020, and then me and the family, we went on vacation to Mexico just as everything was happening. And then we were supposed to come home for a few days, then I was supposed to go to Honduras with David Gogo in the band and do a week of dates. So while we were in Mexico in March, it all got deferred to another year, which was supposed to be this past year, which is now going to be next year. So yeah, the last time I played a real live gig in front of an audience was probably March 2020. Since then done about 2 live stream shows with Rainwater Whiskey, which is the country band I play with. We do a lot of stuff, and playing with now, still play with the Robert Farrell Band.
Oh wow, that's a long time.
Rainwater Whiskey, David Gogo, sessions from here all the time, just recording tracks for people.
In Ottawa, what's the rehearsal complex around here? Is there one anymore? We used to all go to the park. But
yeah, there are.
Is there a scene?
Luckily, I haven't had to go anywhere except for here to rehearse with anyone. A lot of the gigs I've done are no rehearsal gigs either. So it's, prepping in advance.
Charts.
Yeah, I chart everything.
Randy Cook would be proud. So that's really cool. I guess, so, thinking about that, going back, so we played together 20 years ago now. This was June 4th, was the 20th anniversary of the release of the 3-song CD from THERMOcLINE.
Was it?
Yeah, because we had that party at Nescaleros that you couldn't come to for some reason.
Yeah.
And we were waiting for you to show up, and then we just played the song at midnight or something, and we...
Well, I think I was in the UK, right, with Artificial Joy Club.
Yeah.
But did I make it to that party?
I had no idea. I
think I did later.
I can't remember. You're like the guest of honor.
Oh yeah, great. Make me the guest of honor.
Well, at the time, I'd been in a few bands, but nothing real. The drummer of Artificial Joy Club signed to Interscope Records. This big guys coming in. We're playing. Like they used to say to me, Graham and Jason, Jason R.I.P. But Jason and Graham were our friends and our band members then. And Graham would say to me, and Jason too would say, Artificial Joy Club, $5,000. Practice. Like that was their thing, to like make you practice. Like we spending his money on those guys.
Wait, you didn't pay me that much.
Well, we were spending $5,000 on the studio.
Okay.
On distortion.
At the time, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, because I remember that, because I forget how.
Jay Rustin probably told you about the gig.
Possibly, yeah. Like I forget how we connected, and
he definitely said we need to get Andrew. Like
yeah.
it was him for sure, because I think he like wanted you on it than anyone else.
I just recently listened back to the -1 album that we did, the THERMOcLINE -1 album.
Trippy, it's good.
Like it sounds good, and that was all Jay Rustin too on that, producing and mixing and everything. And it's a really good sounding record.
I'm sad that project is over, but I'm probably gonna play a few songs live in my show. Just thinking of a couple. I mean, it's funny because the single Vacant Lot, like I still don't really know what that's about. Do you remember in the studio when we wrote that song, like Graham asked me what the title was and I just said Vacant Lot because I came up with the riff, but I had no idea what it was about. And he wrote all the lyrics about something completely different. Like Vacant Lot has nowhere in the song.
Yeah, I don't recall.
I thought he did a great job. It just, at the same time, it's hard to reproduce. Like I can't karaoke that song if I tried.
Right, yeah, there was, and thinking back at the time, I remember whatever guitar effects unit you were using then, and then I think whatever Roland Octopad I had at the time, probably just like the SPD 30 or something.
You had the
built-in
Octopad because you were
songs.
doing the intro on the 6 MIDI drum pads you had, or
Yeah,
eight,
and,
Octopad
and
8
those
pads.
those were all stock sounds in the Roland, and I think we just would mess around with stuff, and then that's where stuff started from.
I love that
You know?
sound. I love the Octopad intro. That was really fun. I remember like when you did that, and like when we played that Edwin gig. I wish you would have been there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, we go out, we played Sonic Blonde first. I remember turning my guitar up backstage. There's 5,000 people there. Now normally we would go on early, but there was a delay, there was a screw up. They had to cancel
yeah.
Philip Sace. He didn't even get to play after sound checking. And we go on right before Edwin, and it's 9 o'clock almost, dark. I think it was like 8:30. Turn my guitar up backstage, and they just all started screaming. It was like the craziest thing ever, and it was kind of good for us members without you, because you were like, had already done that. None of us had ever had a crowd like that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of good for us three, and we had Butch playing drums on it, and
Yeah.
Rogers filmed it, and the audio got so messed up by Rogers. Like, I have a video cassette that they gave to me, and the audio, it sounds like someone like cross-pan things, unplugged things during this whole set. It's awful. But the second song in, the bass amp went out, and we had to play Barfly acoustic until we figured out something, and then we played the rest of the song. So it was kind of like,
Oh,
it was a nightmare.
things go wrong. I actually, do you remember there was one of the later gigs we did? It was, I think, in Ottawa, and we were opening for somebody. And it was
Wide
a
Mount
shared
Mason?
drum kit. No, it wasn't the Wide Mount Mason.
because I got a
gigs.
car accident on the way to that one.
All the stories now.
I'm just thinking about it.
But whatever band it was, I went through the bass drum head.
Their bass drum head.
Yes, it was shared drum kit. We were opening, and the headliner's kit. I think we were like 2 or 3 songs in, and I went right through the bass drum head.
I remember that, but I was like so in guitar land, and I was just like, I gotta keep this going. I don't remember like what it was though. Was it at Barrymore's?
I don't recall.
Man.
Might have been at like Zaphod's 2 or something. Remember when which was down?
Oh, so there was
the
Ian
block.
playing with Ian, opening for you, the blues guy who opened for
Oh
him.
yeah, was that Ian Moore, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
That's gotta be it.
I remember that.
And then I think like that same week, Kitty and Disturbed and one of those other bands with that lineup, I forget who it was playing at Zaphod's 2. It's like the craziest bands at Zaphod's 2.
Yeah.
I remember I met the singer Morgan, and she gave me a guitar pick for doing this. I took her into Barrymore's and said, "You need to know this is where you should have played." Took her into the room. She saw the room and said, "What the fuck?" I'm like,
Wow.
that was what. Sorry, Eugene, but that was what that was going on.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there was a lot of stuff like that, like
So
back
funny.
at the time too. I mean, and it's amazing to think that it's that long ago now.
Well, for me, I've been saying this to my friends, like, now finally technology's here where I can do what I wanted to do. Like, I didn't trust what we were doing. Unless I had Andrew LaMarche running an ADAT, I didn't trust but what was going to come on through the speakers.
Yeah.
So now I run it, and I use a MIDI fighter to hit play.
Yeah.
And the drummer, he gets a click. He's not hitting play.
And thinking about the technology change, because we had tracks for some songs. And
We were ahead of the curve.
At first, it started with, before I started playing with you guys, but like using DAT tapes live, then using ADATs live.
And the VCR live, because the video
Yeah.
syncs up to the audio
Yeah.
track. You told me all about
and
that.
then doing, I remember when I got a DR4, the hard disk machine.
And
That's
then
what
the
we
DR8.
used. Yeah, that's what we used. And then now just all the stuff that you can do, with Ableton and...
Well, with the -1 sessions, remember we had to simply connect the DR4 to the 24-track 2-inch tape, and Jay did that, and then when he was rewinding it, I'm like, I like that sound, and I made him sample it, and we put it in Superstar, like the...
Oh, is that what that is?
Yeah.
Oh, see, I
Oh,
don't
you were in the
remember that.
room probably hitting the drums, not hearing
No,
them.
probably. I miss everything.
Oh man, it's been some time. But I still haven't had the opportunity to get into a real tour. I've just been waiting for that to happen. We've really only done those 401 tours, in Canada.
Yeah.
I mean, I spent the last 10 years in LA just developing a sound. But let's talk about you more. So we see each other at NAMM every once in a while. Tell me a little bit about what you discovered at NAMM that I maybe not have heard about, or that our listeners and my viewers might actually want to hear about. Anything cool that you found at NAMM? Like, I know you're a gear guy and you've got all these crazy stories. I'm just thinking of something that NAMM-wise. Tell me the NAMM thing.
I don't know. I mean, I like my brands. Like, I've been with Pearl Drums since 2001, and Sabian cymbals as long as I can remember.
The hand-hammered ones?
These are all hand hammered here.
See, that's the thing. Hand-hammered.
And it's walking around NAMM seeing all this stuff. I don't even know anymore. It's just there's so much stuff. Because I think once you find what you use, you stick with it. Technology-wise, I mean, I use all PreSonus stuff that I've been using for the last couple of years. And then, yeah, I use Ableton when I'm doing tracks and backing tracks and things like that.
Is there like a Phil Collins drum solo album coming out soon?
No, that'll never happen for me. Like, I'm so
not creative,
straightforward. Well, on certain days, but it's just so straightforward. Like, I just like the song, and it's not really about me at all in any way.
I like that. Well, do you play instruments aside from drums? Like, what are your melody life like?
No, I wish I played guitar. I really do.
Interesting.
I'm envious of guitar players. I wish I played guitar. The one thing I wish I could do is sing. I can't sing to save my life.
Well, a lot of people don't know that, so at least you do.
Yeah.
And I've questioned my vocals. Like when I was in THERMOcLINE, I was a guitar player, backup singer, and I always nailed my vocals, but I wasn't singing 15 parts. I was singing 3 parts. Like it was easy. So you come in and nail them. But you know what? I took that to heart, and I've taken vocal training from a lot of places and really rehearsed. And in my Ableton session, I actually programmed in a vocal warm up that me and the other people in my band right now are singing before we go on.
Yeah, that's again like how things change. And growing up, I remember recording songs off the radio with the cassette deck, and then when you got the dual cassette deck and you could bounce stuff, and it's just...
And you wouldn't really think about degradation. You'd just be like, copy it. Oh, copy it. It's not a copy. It's a lesser copy every time you do it.
And recording off the radio,
to start with, right?
And that was how we learned stuff.
And then
I'm older than you, but I remember that. It would just be like...
But I was an early technical kid. Like, I was writing programs on the Atari 400 in 1982.
Wow.
Typing them in from a book, saving them, and then editing them to, so I could play the guitar game and have more lives. But I was doing that in 83, maybe 82,
wow.
Maybe 84. I mean, I can't remember, but it was, before I was 8.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
nerdy. A little nerdy.
Well, that's okay. Yeah, it's good to have the technology side of this stuff down, but I'll tell you, the amount of time I spend on YouTube trying to figure stuff out every once in a while, just mostly with video editing, I think, and that's the thing these days, is you can do everything yourself. So it's like, okay, I kind of know how to record. Do I know how to mix? Not really, but I get by. And
I absolutely 100% don't mix any of my own stuff ever, because I'm not mixing for other people all the time.
Yeah.
Therefore, I know that it's going to suck, and I'm not going to even try. And I've had the problem where it's too bad. I've been in some bands where I had a really amazing band member who basically wrote all the songs and produced it all and mixed it all. But I was like, can we use one of our insert friends' names here to mix for it? And it was like, no, I need to do it. And then afterwards, it's like, why didn't we let that guy do it? Because now he's working with blah.
Yeah.
And it was like, thanks.
That's what happens. And I like doing stuff myself just to figure it out. It doesn't mean I want to do it for anyone else.
What are you into, musically lately?
Okay, well, let me say this, is that I've spent so much time over the years learning songs on a week-to-week basis for gigs I was doing or sitting in for, or just, doing tracks for people where I'm charting out songs, is that the only time I was really listening to music was when I was driving. And lately I got Sirius XM, I have Spotify, I have Apple Music, all that stuff. So I kind of dig, and this, I don't know if I'm saying this out loud, but man, that I love when I'm at home doing stuff is putting the Yacht Rock channel on and Sirius XM.
What are some of the songs?
I like just all songs you've heard before. There's always some Michael McDonald's and some Toto and some. It's kind of like
if you're partying on a boat,
70s,
what you want to hear.
Groovy stuff. I dig it.
I'm just glad you didn't say something weird like Taylor Swift and that was it. Although you do like her, I know that's okay.
I don't even know if I've ever listened to a full album.
All right, so move on from that.
Yeah.
But Yacht Rock, I love it.
Yeah, and so I don't know why, it just happened one day, and I just always keep listening I just pop on the yacht rock when we're hanging out, and I put it when I'm driving. I'll put on the new rock Spotify playlist every week, see what's going on. But definitely, I prefer the heavier side of music, even though no band I've ever played in is heavy.
I thought Superstar was kind of heavy when we did that.
Yeah, I mean that
It was so wimpy though in the end, like in a weird way. Superstar has like the potential to be heavy.
I remember. Yeah,
was fun.
grooving that one. It had some good grooves on it and stuff. So
I still want to do the middle of Adrenaline's Dead.
yeah, it's been a while since I listened to that whole album, but yeah, I mean, I know when I listened back, when I did just hear bits of it a little while ago, I was like, I've recorded on a lot of stuff that I've never even heard, but then, recording the stuff from that long ago, I've forgotten, but when I listen back, it's just, I'm surprised myself sometimes with some of the stuff I played.
And also how much you remember. Like it brings you back in the room. Like this is even sitting here with you, like I remember, like it just feels like yesterday. Kind of. Yeah. It's like crazy.
Remember we used to rehearse in your basement.
Yeah, I had the basement, and I was like trying to do this, but it was way tighter, and it was definitely we had a neighbor, and there's like other issues with that, and now it's come full circle,
Yeah.
So interestingly, so I have a song I think you played drums on, Star Above Me.
That was a while ago, right?
1999.
I think it's in my iTunes library.
Now, what happened? I saw Andy at Steve's Music downtown.
Yeah.
And I said, "Hey, how you doing?" And he's like, "Remember that song?" He's like, "Oh yeah."
Oh, nice.
So he played on it. So we redid it.
Oh, did you?
On the record.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and it's called "The Stars Above Your Eyes."
Yeah.
But when I wrote that, like the lyrics were like, "I'm gonna sell your story into glory, and ride away, away. Sometimes you will say you're sorry, or someday you will say you're sorry, dazedly."
Mm-hmm.
That was kind of like, I was kind of writing it to some of the band members we were with THERMOcLINE at the time, like in a way, because I was kind of butting heads with Jay a bit. Mm-hmm. So it was kind of frustrating me at the time, and I just needed to do a song without him telling me what to do, and without waiting for Graham to sing it or write it. Right. But Graham wasn't involved. He had no reason to be involved in that song, so it was like a song I had written, right?
Yeah.
So, and then eventually we did that song with Steve singing it.
Okay, yeah.
So that was kind of weird, right?
Yeah.
After Graham left. So when I came to Ottawa on Friday, I drove up, and I didn't tell anyone I was coming here because when I post this, I'll already be back home. That way no one, breaks into my house and takes all my TVs. But point being is, when I drove by here, I drove by Green Bank, and I'm like, oh wow, this is the spot. And I'm listening to, I had the album on because we were practicing, we were going to do a jam. It was right at A Star Above Me during the I'm going to write your, it was right during those lyrics. When I drove by that area, I looked over, I saw Jason's building.
Right.
And I saw it, and I just kind of like, wow, it kind of hit me really for a second.
Yeah. Every time I drive out there, same thing, memories come back.
It's so fucked up, man. We had a bass player who committed suicide in 2001. We did 2, benefit concerts annually for it, and we raised a bunch of money for suicide prevention, but it was pretty tragic and painful and devastating. Like, it was the end of that band. Eventually, but our singer had left the band 3 weeks earlier. But I'm not here to talk about it, but Jason Young was a great friend, a great guy, and I just, it's too bad he cut life short at 30, and we don't really, I want to talk about, good things in life, and I'm very, very about, if someone has depressed thoughts, you want to make sure you get them to call a suicide hotline. I'll make sure to put a number up here. I think it's really important to look out if you see warning signs in your friends and things like that. But I also felt like I wrote another song called Divine Episode about that.
Okay.
And you haven't heard that, because me and my buddy Gab from my hometown played drums on that. We did that in Smiths Falls with Tim Greencorn.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And that was more of a therapy thing for me. It was so weird. I'll let you hear that sometime. I'm not sure if I'm going to release it. It was more about getting it done. I originally took that song and then redid it and called it 6 Girls Ago over Beautiful Prozac Child.
Oh, okay, wow.
Which you'll recognize that. I think I might have made you hear it one year. So there's a lot of weird shit that I had to just get out. Like I did a cover of Satriani's Summer Song on my album, and I negotiated with their attorneys to do a 3/4 mechanical royalty licensing rate, and I was just talking to Jack about this today. Like, what was the point of that? Well, it cost me about $2,000-$3,000 to make it so that when I pressed 1,000 CDs, it cost me $200 instead of $300.
Yeah.
But I was learning the stuff, you know. I thought that was really neat. So there we are. But I appreciated your quest for gear all along. It's like when we were trying to figure things out, there was a point where after THERMOcLINE was kind of ending or whatever, and then I got laid off in Nortel. I was playing with my friend Jack in the cover band. We were playing at Casino de Lac LeMay, and we were just doing covers and getting paid for it. And that was really fun. But just to like suddenly learn covers and be and play music for money, I've never done that before.
Yeah. I mean, I dig doing cover gigs. I don't mind at all.
I never had the time, really.
Yeah, you know, I
When you have a real
understand that.
Nortel type job, right?
Yeah.
But I'm lucky. I managed to keep the ability to work remotely. The pandemic's given me the ability to come home and start and do things.
Yeah, which is great.
So what has the pandemic allowed you to do that you wouldn't have been able to do? Or are you the same?
I don't even know. It's everything. Just every day is a blur. Like doing stuff, not doing stuff. There's always things to do. I'm always learning. I'm always figuring stuff out. I think that's my downfall, is I get too curious about how things work and things like that, and look at new gear and yeah, you know.
Well, I mean, one thing I think I've learned is hire the right people when it's necessary. Like, I love my sound guy. Shout out to AJ. Thank you so much for all your help.
Yeah,
like,
AJ, I don't know.
And you want to, though. It's like a Matt LaMarche.
Okay.
Another Matt LaMarche. And you know him well.
Who's my brother?
Shout out to Matt. Miss you, Matt. So the thing is like, when you have people that can just solve problems, like existential problems about your gear.
Totally, you know, and having that network of people that knows about stuff is so helpful.
Well, I wouldn't have bought an Apollo if I didn't have someone who explained it to me. And it's like, you need this, you need that. Now that I'm like, we solved the problem that, like, normally, like, I had a rehearsal yesterday and it would have been a nightmare for us to figure out on our own, but I had someone who was able to, oh, do this, and like literally from the car, I wrote down the instructions on the phone that he said, got to the studio, set it all up, and it sounds perfect.
Yeah, that's amazing.
I'm like, how the hell? So just using the right people, doing the stems properly, making sure your art, like, stuff is mixed down. And for the NFT stuff, if you're doing projects with people, make sure you start to get more stems so that you can include them. Like, say you have a release of an album and you're part of some group, or you're doing something, you want to make sure that there's some sort of NFT that goes out with it that includes, like, you know, certain mixes and extra stuff and like different takes. You know, like, it's almost like an album now. It's
yeah,
you
have to explain.
extras.
You have to explain all that.
Well, I don't know it. I've been just talking about it on the podcast. And I had a
Yeah.
couple people on, and one of the resources that my friend Catfish Comstock, shout out, he's got a new record coming out. Make sure you do the pre-save, everyone. But yeah, he's got he was saying go to nfts.tips on Clubhouse. And
Okay.
listen to that. You have Clubhouse Invite.
Sure.
So Clubhouse is
You're
an app
putting me
on
on
the
the spot.
iPhone that a lot of people are using. Twitter has Twitter Rooms now.
Okay,
It's
yeah.
very similar to that, and
Yeah.
I can send you an invite. I have like 2 left. But once you get an invite, I think you get a couple every few weeks.
Oh, okay.
But it's basically you can go in and listen, and you can put your hand up if you want to talk, but you won't be able to speak for the first little bit, kind of like, you know, people come in, whatever. But it's a very cool way to discuss things. But nfts.tips is a place to go to learn about NFTs, and I need to go there too, because we have hopefully you can put some stuff out and some merch and some new stuff soon. So
Yeah.
let's see here. Thinking about education and music, I know, like, so what have you been doing to further your drum education? Like, I know, like...
No, it makes sense. I don't know how many years ago now. A few years back, I did a Berklee online drums specialist certificate. So that was like 4 courses. Had some great teachers like Rod Morgenstein and Yoran Israel, Jim Payne.
And so, can you just, for my listeners and for me, tell me where they're known from or what they're
Well,
drummers?
Rod Morgenstein, like Dixie Drags, Steve Morse, Winger.
And Steve Morse is an Ernie Ball artist. Shout out to Ernie Ball, my favorite guitar company, aside from the Canadian Godin guitars for acoustics are my Canadian friends, and for strings.
Yeah. Yeah. There you go.
Ernie Ball for strings. But
Yeah.
Steve Morse was
Yeah.
one of those guys. I
And
know that name.
yeah, and Yoran Israel is one of the Berklee instructors, and Jim Payne, which I have his book over there, the funk drumming book. That
I can actually get up and I'm not
this
tethered
is a really old
to anything.
book.
Oh, I just took all your
Oh, it's okay.
secret stuff, the funk. So
Yeah.
who's this?
That's Jim.
A funk drumming book.
Yeah,
Cool.
that's it. A great book. He has a bunch of books, so doing that. So I mean, just things like that. Like I've got stacks of drum books. Unfortunately, don't practice as much as I would like to.
So what would you practice if you had the time?
I go through that. I'll open one of my drum books up and just start hacking away at stuff. And I mean, I have an electronic kit that you can't see from this angle, but I'll just come down and hit them, you know, and read through some stuff and play along with stuff.
Will you sometimes like put Ozzy on and play along to like No More Tears or Crazy Train or fun stuff like that?
You know what? I did that when I was, 13, 14.
Have you done it lately? It's probably going to be fun.
I play...
Might need to do that.
I do play along with songs that I'm learning. But yeah, when I'm listening, have Sirius on, or the radio on, and you hear an old song like that, like Ozzy, No More Tears or something, it's like, oh yeah, I should go jam with that, and I never do it.
I implore you to do that one of these days and throw it up on your channel. You get more hits than you do.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You want to get more hits on your website from the SEO guy? Get those fun songs on.
Yeah. Yeah, and you know what? And it's.
What's your website? Andrew LaMarche. What is it?
AndrewLamarche.com.
AndrewLamarche.com, right there.
Yeah. There you go. Are you going to put it across the screen?
I'll put it there as well.
Oh
and
wait,
there.
We'll put it there. Yeah, every once in a while I will just, listen to some tunes and play away, like songs I've never heard. Like just put it on some Sirius XM channel, stream it through my headphones and play along.
So what I'm kind of doing, because I have probably a couple records still to write, is thinking about maybe that song still works somewhere. That's where I'm still at. I'm still digging for songs that I've done. Like I'm going to pull, you're going to make some money someday because I'm going to pull a THERMOcLINE song that has your writing on it. I'm going to be like, this is going to be used for this album, and you get writing if it works. And you'll be like, I hope you sell 1 million records.
Good, yeah, I do. Yeah. I hope everyone I ever worked with sells 1 million or more records.
But that's one thing I like to do. So do you have any advice for new artists? Especially drummers, or people that haven't tried drumming and may want to drum.
Well, what I know from what I've found out is you can learn pretty much anything these days for next to nothing. Just YouTube, people on YouTube and all that stuff. I do pay for a couple courses here and there that I'll do that I intend to do that I never get to. And I mean that's just it's life nowadays, with everything, with the home life and running around, and you need groceries and you need this and you need that. Like it just.
What about automatic ordering? Your fridge orders your groceries for you.
Well, that's what I'm waiting for. I'm all about the online ordering stuff. And
you got to talk to Scobalizer. He was my first guest.
Yeah.
Watch that podcast.
Okay.
He's up your alley of automation. No privacy anymore.
No, not at all.
Like the sensors in your car use AI to see where your mouth is, so it knows where to put the audio, so it can pull it from.
Well, if you have a good car.
Those are the Teslas. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like my car though, but we won't be here talking about cars.
No,
I'm waiting to get stamina number 2.
I know nothing about cars. Just so you know.
What are you driving?
A Nissan Xterra 2014. I totally dig that truck. That's my second Xterra. They don't make them anymore, but yeah, it's the same thing. As technology goes, it's like now my 2014 that had like the touch screen is so out of date. And
that's funny. It's an old touchscreen.
It is, so yeah. Bad. Like, so there's no Apple CarPlay. It's just like a touchscreen and.
What about the electric Ford F-150?
Well, as long as you can move gear if I ever need to.
The lightning.
That's what I need.
Until it runs out of battery power.
I don't know. I don't know if anyone's ever talked about this, but I think about that in terms of traveling to gigs when we're all in electric vehicles, and I mean. Touring Canada, for example, where some of your drives are 12 hours.
That's why you don't buy the vehicles; you lease them, and they just send you a new one if there's a problem.
No, but I'm talking about like
how does that
electric only. How do you do a 12-hour drive? Like, how long do electric vehicles last?
About 4 hours.
So if you have a 12-hour drive to get to a gig,
you got to stop and charge and eat and sleep.
Right. Yeah.
Do you really drive 12 hours?
No one has time for that. Like, drive, go.
Right? I don't know. Well, I think the idea is to have it when you drive along the road, it charges your vehicle.
Right. That is true, yeah.
See, that's the way I like to think, but I don't see it happening.
See, I really know nothing about this stuff.
And the real hoverboards are just drones you stand on. Right? Flying
yeah,
car,
makes
the
sense.
flying car. I think Larry Page or someone from Google invented the first flying car. It's just a giant drone that they're driving.
Oh, okay.
You think about it, like
Yeah.
drones are pretty
Oh,
rad.
see, now this makes me feel so much like a dinosaur because of all the stuff I don't know or can't keep up with.
I should have brought you a hoverboard. I used to work at the Swagtron for a bit. The electric hoverboard agency. People, oh man, electric skateboards, a lot of fun. I would go to skate parks and bring all their gear, and then like next thing you know, like when there's pros and stuff, you go there and like they all want to try it.
Oh,
and
wow.
now they're Instagramming themselves on your stuff, and thousands of people are seeing it.
That I missed out on that skateboarding era, but it sounds super cool.
Skateboarding was, I broke my arm twice this year.
This year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I will not be skateboarding for at least a year, and when I am, I'm going to be very careful because I'd rather play guitar than skateboard. But what happened the second time was I wasn't able to take weight on it yet. I thought I could.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like right now, if I fall on it, it could break because I just healed it. But we won't be worried about that because we'll be careful. But we run the skateboard camp at Burning Man.
Oh,
for last
cool.
well, I don't run it. I'm part of the team that runs it when I can. I
Yeah.
love the people. They all work really hard. When I'm injured, I can't do as much. But in general, the guys work hard. They do great stuff. I think there's going to be an awesome crew there this year. But since it's not officially happening, I don't want to be part of the bring your own porta party. I'm sure they'll have an amazing time. I'm just in Canada, not going. But that was what I was going to bring up. Was that was where I kind of got into EDM.
Okay.
Was that scene.
Yeah.
Going to festivals. Actually, I went to Coachella, which is not Burning Man, not like Burning Man, but I went to Coachella in 2011, and that's where actually my friend Laura, who runs the is just an amazing Ableton trainer and performer. She had been doing something with Kanye West and asked me to like kind of film it and stuff. I ended up giving like as much footage as I could, but it wasn't like we were so whacked out at that party for 3 days. My mom's long lost friend's son was in a band from UK called Left Field who were playing, and they were amazing.
Oh, cool. Yeah. And
they were playing with a band called The Presets, who I'd gotten into some of their stuff, and we were like, wow, that was pretty incredible. So it was nice to connect with those guys, and they'd given us free Coachella tickets.
Nice.
Like out of nowhere.
Yeah.
But after Coachella, I started going to more festivals and then Burning Man. And once you start going to the Burning Man kind of events and the EDM starts happening, you realize like it's a whole different world of like getting into the Ableton world. Because my friend Laura was a trainer, I kind of was going to those master classes and learning stuff. And I realized that the power of that was like instead of our iPad or iPod that my drummer was using on stage, where left would go to the click and the right would be the samples.
Yeah.
Now we're able to control every instrument as we need to, and it's like we picked the right DAW, I think, to go with Ableton.
For using live, I mean that's pretty much what a lot of people use.
But
so it's
where I was going with that little long-winded trek into Burning Man was that I'm doing rock and EDM kind of together now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I'm curious if you've gotten into any electronic music, because I know that you're a rock guy and you know it, but you don't like. I don't see you going to EDC, so you're not going to know who Jaws is or who like Slushy and all these weirdos are from Los Angeles. You're like, well, what's A-Track? You know, what are these teams? What's that's it.
I mean, I
Getter. Like, do you know any of these names?
I don't know any of the names. I mean, I do appreciate the music and the sounds and the craft that goes into it.
Like, do you know Bass Nectar?
No.
Okay, so you don't know any of that stuff. Okay.
No. But, I mean, I do know, listening to a lot of music I hear, it's like, the one thing I should do is invent a snare drum that sounds like a hand clap.
Well, you just did.
Well, I mean, I could do it with the triggers and stuff like that, but you know what I'm saying?
No, I'm not a drummer. I would never, ever.
Because I think...
What about a snapping finger?
Well, that's it, Side stick you can do, snapping finger, you probably want to use a trigger for. But it's just every song I seem to hear is like a hand clap with the snare drum, which is cool. Like, I dig it. I think it's amazing. But
I love it.
But it's just, I was like, oh man, someone needs to make a snare drum that just sounds like a hand clap. Without triggering it. Just come up with something that has that sound.
What if it actually has like two mannequin hands that are like, when it hits it, you're like, boom.
Yeah,
or like you've seen the ones where you hit the foot pedal, like the one-man band kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I see what you're saying. You want to just, but why wouldn't you just trigger it?
Well, and that's the thing, you can trigger it, and you can do anything.
But you can't trigger it without power.
Right, true.
So you can't make a clap without actually having someone... You want to know how to make a clap without power. But couldn't someone just clap?
Oh, so if you're playing a drum kit, and all your limbs are taken
I'm kidding.
care of. But anyway, I mean, that's just all the time I think of
But
them. Like,
do you remember what you said to me about every song has on it? Every hit song has it? Back when... Like,
Triangle?
yeah, okay. So
Do you remember that?
You still say that?
I haven't really thought about it, but I mean, it's always this stuff way in the background you hear. And, you know, I don't know if it's every hit song.
I think what you're getting at is that the overly or the very highly produced songs have the time to put shit like that in there.
Like the shakers in the background and triangles and things like that. I mean, and that's, I was going to say this, is I think music has kind of been ruined for me over the years, because whenever I listen to something, I'm just like, in my mind, it's the drums with the music. Don't ask me what any lyric is. I have no clue. I'll never remember it. And that's, I think, now with Apple Music, if you're listening to something on your phone, the lyrics will come up. So now if I read lyrics along with listening to the songs, I hear them completely differently.
Oh, you know what did it for me? As you know, I was learning how to be a musician in the night when we were getting our THERMOcLINE going on. I was all about my guitar as it.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
But I didn't even listen to bass.
Yeah, and I mean, that's the big thing about, I mean, playing drums, is I'm always listening and attentive to what's going on,
You gotta lock in.
dynamics and things like that.
You're the quarterback.
But, you know, I kind of I know the melodies and I know the lyrical melody, I actually don't really know any of the words. Like, if you asked me to write the lyrics for some song, I would
Like Back in Black or something.
I'd never be able to do it.
Well, one of these days we'll get you a teleprompter and make you sing something with it.
Well, I'm never.
That'd be funny to see you do karaoke, though.
No, it's never gonna happen. Never gonna happen. I can guarantee that.
Well, so you never learned to sing, but you don't ever want to learn to sing.
No, I wish I.
Take a vocal lesson with Vicky.
No, I just don't have the tone. Some people can sing, some people can't. I am the one. I am.
Well,
one
if
that can't.
tone is the issue, it could be like your voice sounds the way your head is made.
Well, that's
you know,
what I mean,
know
right?
What to say.
So
like, you don't know surgery to change your voice.
Yeah, you know, like my.
But I don't think you have like any non-tone. You just probably haven't experienced a good environment for singing.
Well, and what's funny is, yes, okay. So aside from the singing thing, if I'm playing in a band and someone is minutely out of tune vocally or instrument-wise, I know immediately. Like,
It's because the whole band just sounds sour for that moment. It's
but you know what I mean?
it's
Like,
off.
it's like I just know every time, sometimes before other people know, but I cannot sing to save my life.
Fair enough. My vocals I have in-ears, so I can hear everything I'm doing. So
Yeah.
if I'm off, I know.
Yeah, see, I don't know. I don't think I want to hear myself sing anyway.
I need to hear it, and I need it to sound like the record when I'm doing it. If I'm doing it and I know it sounds like the album because I can hear it sounding like the album
Yeah.
here, then I know
Yeah.
out front it sounds good.
Yeah.
But it used to be before I wear earplugs, hope I can hear my guitar right,
Mhm.
and just keep it as low as I can because I know it'll sound good up front.
Yeah.
That was like hoping and praying. Now it's all there.
Yeah, yeah. In-ears are definitely amazing.
I'm stoked on that.
Yeah.
So, video games? Did you do any video games?
No, I do not.
So what about in the old days? Were you an arcade guy? Was there a pinball? Was there anything?
Well, I mean, you know, like in my lifetime of being around, I mean, I've had Xboxes and
Okay.
and stuff like that. But yeah, I'd go through phases where I'd play for a bit and then never do it again.
No, just some of my friends and I have been connecting online and playing
Yeah,
games again,
yeah.
and it's kind of fun to like I never had a PS4 till this year.
Oh wow!
So
Yeah.
I'm playing Grand Theft Auto with some friends of
Yeah,
mine, and it's
yeah.
like, oh, this is awesome. You can connect with your relatives and stuff. But
Yeah.
then like other friends are all only on the Xbox, so now I have one of
Yeah.
those too, and trying to just connect with people. Okay.
Yeah, never really my thing. I'm kind of a TV, movie, music.
Are you a Star Wars guy? Because I saw one Stormtrooper upstairs, and that was it. And then everything else was
love all
Kiss
that
and-
stuff. I love all that stuff.
Are you vintage?
Yeah, although I really do appreciate the CGI work in the newer films. Like,
Right,
they're
it's
just,
pretty epic.
it's just mind blowing when you see stuff. It's like, wow.
Have you seen The Force Awakens? The first 9 minutes with Dark Side of the Moon playing.
No, I have not.
It's on YouTube.
Is it?
Give it a look. It's like
Okay.
just crank it up, have it on the screen, and
Yeah.
just be like, "Here it is." I'll put a link to it for fun.
Oh yeah, I've never even
It's
heard
super
of that.
fun. You know how they did that with Dark Side of the Moon?
Yeah, wasn't.
Oh no, wait! It's Dark Side of the Moon and Force Awakens.
Okay, but and at one point
They did it with Wizard of Oz.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's right. That's what I was thinking. I was.
But it works with
dating
the
myself.
first 9 minutes of the Force Awakens.
Oh wow.
It's that scene where Poe Dameron is down in there, and they're like the really bad, evil stormtroopers are like killing all the peasants and stuff.
Yeah.
It's like a pretty
Remember that
bad,
scene, yeah.
murderous, evil Star Wars, like the beginning of Star Wars where they killed his parents, kind of stuff. Pretty dark.
Okay. Well, no, I've never heard of that or seen that. I should check that out.
There's a little tangent for y'all.
Yeah, I know. Really. I like seeing the bloopers and things like that. And
The best are Star Wars bloopers from like old movies like
Yeah.
Empire Strikes Back and stuff. That was my favorite. It's the first one I ever saw.
Yeah, Empire was good.
It was so good.
Yeah, no, I dork out and nerd out on all that stuff, and you know, and even over the last year, because I've been at home so much, is just getting caught up on some new shows, rewatching some shows. Like we rewatched
Dexter.
I've only watched a few.
It's coming back.
Oh,
You need to watch it before it comes back.
Check it out again, but we rewatched all of Breaking Bad.
Oh, I love that. I
And
absolutely love Breaking
Better
Bad.
Call Saul.
And I'm waiting for that to finish coming out again. I absolutely love
great.
Better Call Saul.
I love all that stuff. And then, I mean, I've watched all The Walking Dead and Fear of the Walking Dead. And
I only watched Walking Dead, and
Yeah.
I'm caught up to like this year. I know that they had a new one, but I don't think I missed it yet. And Rick and Morty. I'm a huge Rick and Morty.
yeah, see, I've just been seeing stuff about that. I know
Solar
nothing about
Opposites.
it.
You need to get into that.
Okay. I'll check it out.
The Wall.
Yeah, I will totally check it out.
Well, is there anything else you want to talk about? I mean, we can.
No, I mean, just,
Sure,
you know,
man.
just still playing, and I still play with our friend Stephen Clark, so with the occupational side effects, his project, you know, just, it's kind of a collaboration thing. He'll send me stuff, I send him stuff back, and
I remember he had a record that was really good, and then I left and never saw him again. But he was playing bass for us with Andrew, and we needed someone in just for THERMOcLINE when we were still gigging at
yeah.
New RO and stuff like that. He was awesome.
Yeah.
It's good to see he's got
presence.
stuff.
So
going
he
on.
still does stuff.
I think he was producing a lot. So
Yeah, and he's got his stuff down. He knows what he's doing.
his boy must be. He was a baby when I left, so he must be 20 now.
Yeah.
20 years later.
Yeah. And then just, you know, like doing the stuff, working with the different people I've worked with over the years, and working with new people now and then. And I mean, if I could tell you about all the gigs I could have had that didn't happen. And
Is there one that just is bugging you still?
No, not really.
Is there any tidbits that are fun though?
No, I don't think so.
How about when I went down for the Limp Bizkit audition?
Oh, did you do that? Do I know this?
So it's funny. I forgot about it, but Double J, remember Double J from XFM?
Yes.
Jeff's cool. JJ, we talked to him a little bit online now, and he reminded me of something about, remember you did that? I was like, oh shit, I did do that. But I wasn't trying out for Limp Bizkit. We were following, I went down, so it was after Jason passed away, and I was kind of like in this land of, what the fuck am I going to do now, right? And I went down to follow up with Flawless Records on what Jason had sent them, because they responded to him about THERMOcLINE.
Okay.
And we sent them the new Vacant lot. You know, we had Steve Gardner singing on it. And I don't know what he was saying to them. After he died, I didn't know what to do, so I was just like, I'm going to go down, and I walked into the room, and I was under the understanding that they might be trying to steal riffs from people across the country, and there was all this other shit going on where like they were supposed to let you jam with the band if they like you, but this is at like a Guitar Center somewhere down in Buffalo.
Okay.
All these people lined up with their guitars, like tons of guitar players there, and
Oh,
it was
wow.
like just this big stunt of bullshit. And the
Yeah.
Flawless Records brings up their big tour bus, so I'm like, okay, this is kind of like, I felt like Canadian Idol audition or American Idol, like something just super lame like that way, like everybody's here, there's no chance this is going to be worth it. But I said screw it, so I went in and the distortion was on, the Macy Bookie was there, I had my guitar in my hand, I plugged it in, I turned off the distortion, I looked at all the guys, I said, I got to talk to you for a second. And I took this pamphlet out of my hand and I handed them all the shit followed up with from Jason. Like it was like the CD and the letter from them and stuff.
Oh,
like,
yeah,
hey,
yeah.
following up with you, we had some shit go down. I kind of explained to them. I said, I just wanted to let you know that. And I said, here's my song. And I played Frequency, the delay part. The quiet part. And then into the heavy part. And then I hit this pedal. I just played Frequency, and then I left because I wanted to see if they'd steal Frequency from us. Because you're supposed to go in and play something that was never recorded or copyrighted. And that was the extent of my little trip. I never heard from them.
I knew any of this.
They interviewed me about it on XFM, and I have that on
Okay.
tape somewhere, so I'll probably post that on my website at some point.
Nice.
Maybe I'll put it on KRONIS.tv in the comments or somewhere, but yeah. The podcast is new. It's fun. You should try it. But yeah, that was definitely, I got a pick from that Limp Bizkit thing. That's all I have to show for that. Little plastic Guitar World pick from Limp Bizkit.
Well, at least you have something to show for it.
Oh man, don't I ever just miss Dimebag Darrell sometimes?
Yeah.
Where's Pantera when you need them? Oh man, and Vinnie Paul's gone now. I'm sad about that.
Yeah.
I actually got to meet him at a meet and greet. Got a nice picture with him. And then
nice.
it was like surreal because I was like so sad about Dimebag for so long, but then to lose fucking Vinnie too, man. So I saw Slayer, my last show before the pandemic, on my birthday, November 30th.
Oh yeah?
It was in...
How was that?
It was... The first band was Pantera's Phil and the Illegals.
Okay, yeah.
Next band was Ministry.
Oh yeah.
Next band was Primus.
Oh wow.
And the next band, Slayer. Slayer's final show.
Huh.
I got there during Primus. Why? As Jay Rustin even told me that you're going to be late for a show. Like back when I first went to LA in 2007 to go to the Forum, we went to see Incubus and somebody or something like that. And I remember like there was like, if you don't go at like 5, you'll never get there for the opening acts because they start at like 6.
Oh, okay.
It totally screws you up, right? And I was like, I went to the Slayer show and I was like, are you kidding me? Like, I missed the Illegals. So I just watched it on YouTube after, and it's not the same.
No, it's not the same.
I thought it would be awesome. I was so excited to see Phil, but I missed Ministry too and kind of bummed. But I saw them in their heyday at Lollapalooza.
Yeah, I think I probably did too.
So,
back when.
You played Lollapalooza?
Yeah,
Which
one
year?
of the later ones, like 97.
97.
Mm-hmm.
Who was on the bill?
Oh man, I'm trying to remember. So we did, and this was with Artificial Joy Club, and we did the first 3 weeks of, I think there was a 5-week tour because we had other commitments after that. But I'm trying to, you're putting me on the spot.
Oh, that's all right. I know that was like Tool.
Well, yeah, so it was the Marley Brothers,
But I didn't go that year.
Korn, Tool,
I didn't go.
Prodigy, Devo, the Eels.
Korn must have been dope.
Yeah, Snoop Dogg.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. Yeah, I watched Korn quite a bit, watched Tool quite a bit, watched Snoop Dogg.
We saw Tool on second stage in Lollapalooza '92.
I think I did too.
That was epic.
as well.
Were you that one with
Was that
Pearl
in
Jam?
Barrie?
Yeah.
Yeah, I drove.
It was
went up with some friends for that.
So
one.
Soundgarden, Pearl Jam,
Yes.
Lush, Jesus and Mary Chain, Red Hot Chili Peppers, and
Yes.
Tool was on the second stage.
Yes.
Unbelievable. We were so close that we couldn't see the drummer
Oh wow.
because it was such a high stage in Barrie.
Yeah.
But that's 45 minutes where I grew up.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
I've always wanted to play that stage, and we played Fresh Fest with THERMOcLINE. That was the closest thing I did to that.
I went to the first Lollapalooza tour.
With Perry
I
Farrell.
don't even remember what year it was, but yeah, the
Year
one
before.
Jane's Addiction.
That was the '91.
Was it? And that was it. I went to Toronto to see that at CNE.
Yeah, I heard about that. That would have been awesome. That was Perry Farrell and Jane's Addiction, and like Chili Peppers might have been at it too.
And no, it was like 9 Inch Nails.
Okay.
And
I didn't go.
Susie and the Banshees, Living Color.
Damn.
I can't remember now.
So, I remember, like once in a while, I would go away from Ottawa back to my hometown, north of Barrie, up that way, and the THERMOcLINE guys would do shit without telling me or stuff without consulting me because I wasn't there, and they just figured, well, whatever, we don't need to ask for his permission. He's just the guitar player, right? So there was that. Well, there was one time that really pissed me off. I'm just gonna vent it
I
because
don't remember any of
it
this.
was the recording of Sonic Blonde, the chorus. It goes, and then they came up with that, I wish you steal my soul, that part. I
don't remember.
fucking practiced for 4 hours in my car on the way home writing a chorus for it.
Yeah.
And I drove back to Ottawa with all this stuff I'd done, and they already recorded it without me, and they said it was done, and that was it. And I was so mad, and I hated it. And I was like,
I don't remember.
So, but it's okay. They just made a decision. We didn't have time, and Jay was like, I think Jay made a time-based decision. Like, we got to get this down and get it out.
And I might have not been there because I remember I did my drum tracks.
You don't listen to vocals anyway.
And then, I did my drum tracks, and then I was gone till everything else was kind of done.
Were you with Tammy somewhere, flying out east or something?
No, I don't think so. I don't know who I was gigging.
You were playing with Tanner Ribbold and Flying Out East a lot around those times.
Yeah, it's possible, yeah.
And we didn't want to mess that up because you had like, they had some stuff going on.
Yeah.
But yeah, the other thing that really bothered me, that was the one thing. But the other thing was the press release about Lollapalooza. So I never went to Lollapalooza in '97. But there's a press release that I have the article. I think it was Ian Nathanson from The Sun or something like that. I have it, and I will, yeah. And it says that I met you. We met you at Lollapalooza because an errant boot was thrown on stage. Some Doc Martin landed on your drum kit apparently, and you threw it in the crowd, and it knocked me in the back of the skull and knocked me out. And they had to pull me under
came up with this?
under the emergency medical tent.
Yeah.
And that's where we met after, and that's how we met you.
Yeah.
That was their idea of how to make it like a good story of how we met. I'm like, why is it me? And why am I being knocked out? Like, fuck you. Like, those guys, man. That was hilarious. I think it's funny. Fucking hilarious. I'm not mad. I think it's funny as shit. But that's the kind of shit that, like, I was like, really? Like, what kind of...
Yeah.
It was like this destined to fail in a way.
You know, totally cheesy, but
so funny.
Humorous. You know.
Fucking bastards. But, like, we learned after that, though, that you don't... When you have a band situation, you don't really want to knock your own band members like Noel and Liam Gallagher.
No, I mean, that's the last thing you want to do, you know. We all do this because we like it, and, you know, there's easier things you could be doing.
I'm not doing this yet. I've been on the outskirts of the music industry for the last 20 years. I'm ready to take it by storm.
But you're still doing stuff.
Oh, we're doing it now.
You know, everyone does stuff. Everyone does their own stuff. You know, you can do stuff and no one's going to know about it. You're still doing stuff.
I got a buddy, my buddy Marlon, shout out. He's killing it, and nobody knows.
Yeah,
I mean, say that.
You know, and guys like you. I mean, there's guys like you or me. I mean, there's guys like us in every part, city, town.
And everybody. This is what I learned from Los Angeles. Like everybody's done something, right?
Exactly.
And if you go to LA, they've all done something that's more interesting, and it's all name dropping. And I find myself. I have to do that in some stupid way to make it sound like you know what you're doing. It's like, fuck.
Yeah.
At this point, I'm like, this is who I work with, and this is why. You know, like, if you need to. But, like,
Yeah.
I don't really, at this point, let the music speak.
Yeah, but I mean, and that's the thing is, no one has any idea what you've done in the past. And, you know, if you want to find, like, for me, if you want to find out, just look me up. But it's still not going to tell you everything I've done. But,
Right. And, like, people don't care either. What I think is amazing.
Exactly.
So what I've learned too is like when we used to be in the scene, like if you were to cover a song, like remember we used to cut from Blue Monday to another song, but that was kind of a no-no. Like if you're gonna cover a song, you do the whole song kind of thing, right?
I don't remember.
Well, I felt that a lot, like that you can't just play the parts that are easy that everyone knows and then cut out the hard parts so no one cares. Like, but now with the attention span and the DJ sort of world, I love the mashup thing. Like I have a new thing I'm working on, which I'll let the little cat out of the bag. I'm trying to do a mashup of two Canadian songs and one American song. Okay. Where like they all cross at different points during the same song. Like I might be doing the riff of one song and like and then the other song's playing the in between them. Okay. So like they're happening like a physics in like the physics things that you talk about where they happen at the same time. I can't remember the name of it now, but like entanglement kind of theory. Okay. So that's a new thing I'm working on. Not just two songs mashed up, but three. So then you might be able to do something like that with drums. Where you take like a Pink Floyd drum riff. And this is what I was kind of getting at earlier when you were talking about your favorite like yacht party music and what you like to listen to and you get to make playlists on your own sort of thing. Like I feel like I have the ability to hear a song like Martin Garrix's Forever, which they played at the end of the Olympics. He's a DJ. Okay. And I was able to hear like Metallica's To Live Is To Die, I felt had the same chords in it. So I put them together. Yeah. And that's how I got Forever Is To Die. Oh, nice. My dancey sort of cover single. So I don't know how to explain it other than like, it's just knowing those chords work, like together you can come up with really cool stuff. And I can hear I find I can hear stuff that other people don't hear. I'm like, oh wow, that's actually Cheap Trick, that's all that is. It's just a Cheap Trick song that everyone knows, but they're doing it over in this key and it's like they didn't realize they stole it. Like when Sam Smith did the Tom Petty ripoff without realizing it. Sam Smith did Stay With Me, but it's like, I won't back down, like Tom Petty's Won't Back Down. Apparently they gave Tom Petty writing on that.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Like, there's a lot of stuff like that. Like, how does that get by the producers, right? But, I don't know. So it's interesting to see, like, where we're getting influence from now. Like, I'm still writing songs from tapes that I find in my house from when I was 15 that I recorded the part on.
Oh, wow. Cool.
Like, I have a song called Flying High Above. It was called High Above, but then I kind of gave it the Randy Rhoads Flying High Above. That's a tribute name. And initially, I have a tape from 20 years ago. I have another song called Scream. 25 years ago, my friend Dale sang on it. I gave him the lyrics. He just sang it. We recorded it with my buddy Gavin. I don't even know who played bass. I have a recording of it. And I'm like, holy crap, it just came out of my album now.
Well, yeah, I mean, if no one's ever heard it and they can still use it.
I didn't know I had that recording until I heard it after we finished recording it.
That's
I was
amazing.
like, yeah, it blew my mind.
Wow, that's good.
And I had like the riffs and stuff, like Ribbon Lifter, songs like that. I have the riffs of those all on those tapes.
Okay.
Like Ribbon Lifter is a THERMOcLINE
So
track.
those were just ideas that you had over time
Yeah.
that you just brought
Well,
back.
and not like all of them, but just the
Yeah.
more like the ding 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 ding, like all that was kind of done. But the intro stuff I think I came up with like more recently.
Okay, cool.
But so hey, I look forward to seeing you play live now that you're allowed to again.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
It'd be cool to jam sometime. Maybe we'll jam somewhere. Who knows what's gonna happen? But I definitely appreciate you taking the time to invite me over to your home studio. First time in real life. Hey, really great to see you.
Real life.
First time in
Yeah.
real life since the pandemic to be with a friend. All these things are on Zoom.
Yeah.
So this is an episode 6 of the Musicians Insider, and I look forward to seeing you guys back for more. Thanks a lot, Andrew LaMarche.
Thank you.
All right, talk to you soon.
See ya.
When the